one of the truly great artists of the Western Hemisphere, Everald Brown, for instance. Just as a quick example, what he did was, he's always been a mystic. I mean, quite literally a mystic, a guy who had the power to sort of see and foresee and have inner visions. And his family noticed it when he was a very small child. And so in the course of his life, he met one of the founders of Rastafari, a man by the name of Everald, and sort of joined him for a while and sort of absorbed his wisdom. But he didn't follow that path. The path he followed was a little different path. Rastafari, for those who think about it or are exposed to it through reggae music and other things, what it is, it's a belief in really two central beliefs. One is that Haile Selassie, who was the emperor of Ethiopia in the early part of the 20th century, is really a returned Messiah, and that secondly, it's the obligation of people in the diaspora, in Jamaica particularly, to return to Africa, and hopefully to return to go back to Ethiopia. Although none of the African Jamaicans ever came from Ethiopia, they all came from Central Africa and West Africa. But nonetheless, that's the idea. And so Everald Brown, for instance, heard that idea, but he looked at it a little differently. He says, well, tell me more about the religion of Ethiopia. And he found out that the religion of Ethiopia is a Christian religion. It's the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It's one of the oldest Christian religions of any of them, formed in the 1st or 2nd century after Christ, and continued ever since. And it's the state religion of Ethiopia. So his idea was, coming from a native Baptist tradition in Jamaica, his idea was, well, I'm not going to follow the path of believing that Haile Selassie is a returned Messiah. I'm going to follow the path of taking up the religion that he practices and become Ethiopian Orthodox myself. Now, there wasn't any Ethiopian Orthodox religion in Jamaica. There were no priests, no trained priests. So he simply set up in Kingston on the Spanish Town Road his own church. He simply decided, I will become a self-ordained Ethiopian Orthodox minister, and he did. And in so doing, he decided he needed icons for his church, and so he would paint wonderful icons of his church surrounding the interior of this small church that he had that had a dirt floor. And he decided he needed spiritual musical instruments, and so he created spiritual musical instruments of guitar-like instruments, one instrument, a bass instrument, various drums, instrument for 4 persons, and actually 4 instruments in one, a harp section, a drum section, a guitar section, and a thumb piano section. And so he did all these things and created staffs, spiritual staffs that he used in his practice, in his spiritual practice. So the beginnings of him as an artist was to create works that would serve the ministry that he had taken upon himself.